Would you like to learn from those that are taking their lives, their businesses, and their passions to the next level? Best-selling author of Speakeasy and master connector Lou Diamond is here to connect you to some of the most inspiring and amazing people on this planet. Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Oh, am I recording? We're recording. Welcome, everyone, to another amazing episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond, and today on Thrive Loud, we got somebody, I guess, qualifies in the OG category. It's been 6.5 years since I've had him on the program. He is a human behavior expert, best-selling author, and a professional speaker with a very impressive background as a Marine Corps officer and a retired FBI special agent. So check this out. He's got a new book coming out October 29th, 2024, called Unbreakable Alliances, a spy recruiter's authoritative guide to cultivating powerful and lasting connections. If you remembered our first interview when we had him on in his first book, Code of Trust, an amazing book, by the way. We learned a little bit about his career and about what he does. But even more notably, I think he's now transformed that into a really cool book, which we're going to talk about in this episode. Thrive Loud episode's excited to bring back Robin Dreeke. Robin, great to have you back on the show, my friend.
Oh my God, there's nothing better than being on with Lou Diamond in the big speakeasy.
Both of us over the last several years, it was really funny. We probably have communicated via email or text or chat, but we finally get to regroup here back in person. And he's been doing some amazing, cool things. His background's pretty awesome. So what I want you to do is I need to do like that little rewind. Like we got to bring the camera back a little, bring us up to speed. It's kind of like the movie Deadpool. We got to go back a little bit to bring everyone up there.
Which I love.
So let's go back and help people understand at least now how this message of what you're focused on now, go from Code of Trust on sharing your story about the importance of trust to the new book you got coming out now, Unbreakable Alliances. Tough for me to say that quickly. And that'll get everybody up on the same page.
Yeah.
Robin.
And thanks, Lou. So yeah, everything in life is a path, a journey, and a transition. And when we first spoke, man, I can't believe it's been that long ago, 2018. That's the actual year I retired. Code of Trust came out right before then. And everything's an evolution. Here's what it is. So my first self-published book was about building quick rapport. It's called It's Not All About Me. From rapport, we evolve into trust. And from trust, we evolved into the next one, which we're sizing people up, and that's assessing the trustworthiness in others. But ultimately, where I've arrived today in life, because that journey is something that continues, is what's the point of all these things? What's the rapport of trust? What's the point of, all these things, just like speaking easy, it's creating unbreakable alliances. And so that's what this is all about. It's creating the great, healthy, strong relationships we need to overcome any problem in life. There's some fantastic books out there. And one of my favorites has this great quote that says, all problems and challenges in life are interpersonal problems. And it's just take a second to think about that. Really, everything we face in life can be solved if we have a great relationship to be a resource for us, and we can be a resource for them. So this book's all about creating those great, healthy alliances and relationships.
So now I've got some questions for Robin, who's back on the show with a smile, and he's laughing. He's like, "Uh-oh, where's Lou going with this?"
I love.
So Robin, to the guy that wrote a book about the Code of Trust and who is talking about cultivating powerful relationships and those lasting connections, which I'm all about. There's an interesting oxymoronic thing here, and that is that you're talking about how you're recruiting spies. You're a spy recruiter in your day, which is what you did, which most people will associate spies as someone maybe being slightly deceitful or a little bit sneaky or whatnot. And I don't know if trust would actually go through that level. So help everyone understand how you can establish that connection between the two things that I wouldn't necessarily put together congruently.
I love the question. It's my favorite question because ultimately, I mean, think about this. Everyone's a human being first and foremost. And whether we have a job as a podcast host, a producer, an author, a father, a mother, or a spy, everyone's a human being at their core. And so as human beings are genetically and biologically coded to need and want the same thing. And that is we want to feel safe and we want to be prosperous for ourselves and those we care about in our lives. And so when recruiting a spy, believe it or not, if you're using subterfuge, deception, manipulation, all the things you see in the James Bond movies or in any other of these movies, you're going to fail majestically because human beings do not respond productively or healthy to any of those things. And I have, before I retired from the FBI, I had 22 years of doing just this. I ran our behavioral program where I strategized these engagements of recruiting spies. I was a case agent for the entire time on the street doing this. And with 22 years of experience, I can tell you firsthand, those trickeries, or I call carnival tricks, fail majestically. It keeps coming down to the same thing as you have to, number one, you have to identify the priorities, goals, and objectives of those people that you want to interact with. And then you need to think in terms of what can I do to make their life a little bit better? What can I do to inspire them to feel safe with me? Because ultimately, I'm offering myself as a resource to solve a challenge or pain point or friction point in their life, which is nice and great and good. But ultimately, if they don't trust me to do those things, we're not going to have a relationship, no moving forward together. And so that's why, believe it or not, recruiting spies is what I call the toughest sales job in the world, because you are selling the toughest service in the world, not even a product, to someone that's got to trust you with their life.
Yeah. And I'm not going to go. We're going to put all the links in the show notes. We'll do a plug section to make sure we let everyone know where they can get the book. I would like to know, I guess, some of the core values that you think are needed in there, or what are some of the ways that we can cultivate these powerful relationships? Like even one best practice, or I hate using that term, best practice, or one of the most effective practices that you think is something that is applicable to help keep those unbreakable connections in our lives.
Yeah, so I have 8 chapters in the book, and so these 8 chapters are the 8 behaviors behind creating unbreakable alliances, and I'm not going to get into the weeds of each of those because there is an arc that I talk about throughout the book and that I've talked about for the last couple of years. I was able to finally put it down, and that is, how do we demonstrate to someone else that we're present, we value them, and we're making it about them? And so it's a language we use. And again, as human beings, we probably feel it a lot of times in our heart and our soul of what we want to do to allow someone, inspire someone to feel that way with us. But a lot of times we fail short. I love asking this rhetorical question too. Robin Sharma put it in one of his books. And it is, think about the person you love to see walk around that corner. Or when you see their text comes up on a phone, or you see an email come in from you, when you just light up inside and you say, or today when I knew I was going to be talking to Lou Diamond, it's like, I'm so excited, I can't wait to talk to Lou. Because why? Because you're going to make it about me. You're going to be curious, actively curious about me. And so how do we demonstrate that active curiosity and make it about the other person? So when we're shifting the focus from ourselves to the other person, the big 4 are rewarding their brain: the serotonin, the dopamine, the oxytocin, and the endorphins. All the pleasure centers in the brain are firing when they see me. And we need to use this kind of language. And so I call them the golden keys to communication. They're very, very simple. We're using them all the time already. Maybe not as much as we should, or maybe not as often as we should. And it's very simple. Number 1, seek the thoughts and opinions of others instead of taking time and sharing your own. 2, speak in terms of their challenges, their priorities, their pain points, and their friction points instead of lamenting and complaining about yours. 3, this is the anchor of it all. Be non-judgmentally curious about them. Active curiosity. And you can even go a level deeper on curiosity on this one. Don't just be curious about what it is you want to know. Be curious about what it is they want to share. And as a podcast host, this is what you do so expertly, is you're not just seeking thoughts and opinions by asking the all-powerful what question. You're listening very attentively to the things I'm sharing just to follow up on the things that I want to talk about. That's active curiosity. And finally, the 4th one is you empower people with choices. Because when you empower people with choice with the magic word if, Like in the FBI, I use it all the time recruiting spies, using this one simple phrase: if that is something you're comfortable doing. That's it. Because all these things are demonstrated that to the other person that I see you, I value you, and I am a safe person in your life that's going to be a resource for you moving forward in your safety, prosperity, and success.
By the way, I'm also looking over your shoulder at the book cover, because one of the things I talk about in connecting with every conversation is bringing worlds together, which is what you're doing. You're overlapping one into the other.
Yeah, you like my Venn diagram? Oh, I could talk about my how I put my cover together as well. It was a labor. It was me working with my publisher a lot. There was really imagery in there I wanted to make sure I had. So thanks for noticing.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I see the eye obviously within there too, which is kind of cool. Bringing worlds together is what connecting is all about, and I like one of the things that I found that we talked about the last time I had you on the show, and I skim listened. If anyone knows what that is, I kind of like just, hit the 15-second button. Oh yeah, we talked about this, we talked about that. Most of this, so my brain can understand where we were. You said something about trust, which to this minute I'm so important about trust. There's got to be such a level of authenticity in connecting with somebody else, because we all know that the linchpin of great connections is that trust that's established between the two. And when the linchpin breaks, obviously the whole connection crumbles. And I think this is an important piece. I love your 4 steps of your guides of how we can get that unbreakable alliance. Where is it tested? Where, Robin, is the testing that goes on? Which of those is, like, to you, the hardest part, where potentially we might lose that long connection, or we might not break through from the areas there? Where's, like, I guess, that sensitive connection between the two, that if we don't hit that one, it's all going to fall apart?
So, a fantastic question again. Those 4 keys of communication are the ways that I need to make sure I'm communicating, vocally, written, non-verbally, all the things to make it about them. But really, to me, the linchpin of this entire thing is my behaviors. I need to display the behaviors of trust in order for everything to work, to everything to flow. Matter of fact, without these behaviors of trust, you could be really great at these 4 keys to communication, but it'll completely fall apart. And we've seen this in everyone in our lives. And so if people aren't doing these three really key behaviors, this is where it falls apart. These are the linchpins. 1, open, honest communication. It is paramount to trust, is you have to be open and honest with your communication. This isn't caveating being a rude ass by saying, hey, I'm just going to be honest with you. And then you just, regurgitate vileness out of your mouth. No, it's like being honest with being the loving critic for someone, if that's what they're looking for. Because again, only if they're asking, but really just being full of kindness, generosity, appreciation. Oh my gosh, that's honest. So honest and open. Next is transparency. Transparency is critical to everything. Matter of fact, inside the FBI, recruiting spies, I don't care what it is. If you're not being transparent, this is where it all falls apart. Because a lot of these skills, it's a method. It can be a procedure, and all these things that say, it can ring of manipulation, because I'm actually strategizing how to have a meaningful conversation with you. Matter of fact, someone says, Robin, are you doing it to me now? I said, what, making it all about you? Yes. Trying my best, because I really generally suck at it. So I got a process I got to go through. But what I'm doing is to ensure that there's no manipulation, to ensure that we have trust, is I have to be completely transparent with exactly everything that's in my mind. And if there's a thing that I can't be transparent about because of legal process procedures, I need to be transparent with my legalities, my process procedures. In other words, just be open, be transparent. The final thing is vulnerability. I think vulnerability it takes the biggest act of courage. And this is why people generally don't do it. If you really tend to be an insecure person, your ability to be vulnerable wanes. And here's what vulnerability is. It's, on the one side, you have to have confidence with what my skills are. I'm pretty good. I know what I'm decent at. But when you bring that to the extreme, that's a dichotomy out of balance. It becomes arrogance. But the other side of vulnerability is the humility side. What do you suck at? And do you own it? And can you self-deprecate? Can you share that, hey, listen, I know I'm good at this, but you know what I really suck at? X, Y, and Z. of fact, all my books are centered on, they're my manuals on how not to be the self-centered moron I was born to be. That is owning it. That is understanding where that dichotomy is. So transparency, open, honest communication, vulnerability, those are the behaviors that really inspire trust, because what are you doing when you're doing these things? You're giving someone situational awareness about you, which does what? It allows them to feel safe that you are not a threat in their life, because that really comes down to everything. How can you inspire someone to feel safe with you?
Listeners need to know that I truly suck at folding fitted sheets. I just want to make it clear. I want to let you know I'm getting better, but I am just not good at it. Even with a partner to fold it with, I'm always having trouble.
Every time I talk to you, Lou, I'm always asking myself, I wonder what's going to be the belly laugh this time.
There you go.
And that's it.
I'm going to give a shout out to my friend Brian Belowich, who does that all the time. Whenever he shares a weakness, that's the one he shares. So I'm got to give kudos to the one who shared it with me. So, by the way, I'm totally with you on all of this. And as you know, this is what both of us speak about in different ways, me through conversations, you through how we're going to connect through the ways that you can really make the connections with people, which is, the human behavior expert that you are. And every now and then I'll be like, my topics, your topics, this is common sense. This is like, how come we need to have these books out here? And I think we all know the reason we need to have these books out here is because people do not follow these rules. And we aren't in a world where we're able to make these cultivated, powerful, and lasting connections. We continue to see the connections fall apart because we seem to forget about these, what seem to be very basic rules. The question I have for you, which is you hinted to it a little bit in the sense that, are you practicing making it all about you right now, which is what you're doing because you have to practice it all the time. How do we make it part of our behaviors? How do we do it, Robin, so that we can actually always achieve those conversations that connect, always establish that level of connection that we're trying to achieve through the trust methods that you've shared? How do we make it part of our behavior?
Two things. I think the first is have a loving critic in your life that can stand there, watch you objectively, but cares deeply about you, to say, hey, you're being an ass, and remind you to take a look in the mirror, to help you see your blind spots when you have them, so that you need to do the second part, which is the most important thing in anything we do in life. You got to get in the reps. There's some fantastic authors out there that I've absolutely loved that talk about mastery, whether it's the book Mastery by Robert Greene, whether it's Joshua Medcalf, who talks about chop wood, carry water, and pound the stone, or whether it's in this book, I have a chapter on mastery, and Joe Navarro's got a chapter in his book, Be Exceptional Mastery. It's getting in the reps. The hardest thing as a type A like me is patience. Mastery takes years and years of patience and getting in the reps. As Lao Tzu says in the Tao Te Ching, the journey starts with one step, and you just got to get the steps in. You just got to get the reps in, and you have to be patient and kind to yourself when you're getting those reps in. You will have moments that are extremely humbling along the path. That's a fantastic rep. Every time, we talked about my bio briefly at the beginning when people ask me, do a self-introduction. I normally start out with, I'm a father. Everything I learned in my life gave me the tool set to do the most important job in life, is be a father, because my children are my legacy. My children, if I've done a good job to be a resource for them in their lives, they're going to live a good, healthy, prosperous life, and they'll remember me and the things they're doing in life in a very positive way. That is my number one job in life. Everything I've done professionally gave me the skills I needed to be a father. And in order to do that, you need to get these reps in. And when I talk to both my kids as they have a stumbling moment, a challenging moment, or a day full of chaos, all I say to them when we're strategizing through it together is, that's a great rep. We're getting a great rep in today. There's no bad days. There's just days. And here's the other thing that is also another fact of human nature. We do not remember an average day. We remember days that are really, really great, which make us laugh, and we remember days that really, really suck. And so make today a day you remember, one way or the other. An average day, they're not bad. There's just not a lot of growth. Make it a great growth day by getting a good rep in.
I like it. I want to ask this question to now. This is now your third book. Am I doing that math right?
Fourth.
Fourth book.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's
1,
crazy.
2, 3, 4. Fourth book for Robin. Killing it. I love it. Robin, each time you create one of these, you are giving the gift to the world in this brilliance and thought pieces that you want to share with everyone. Yet there's always a gift in return that you receive for creating this great content for the world. It's almost like a happy accident. Robin, what was the happy accident in Unbreakable Alliances for you?
Oh, just the happy accident in everything you do is the reason why we do everything we do, to be of service. There's no greater reward in life than to be of service. We are genetically and biologically coded for that as well. I mean, we all experienced it years ago during COVID. The first thing you do when you're feeling down, when you're feeling depressed, believe it or not, is to serve. When in doubt, serve. When you're feeling down, serve. I do a lot of true crime podcasts, and I do a lot of commentary on notorious people that are doing really bad things around the world, whether it's serial killers or in some cases, celebrities that have gone off the rails. And in each of these cases of someone that's made a lot of money, and I won't name names on your show, but someone who's made a lot of money in the music industry, say, if they had just taken their resources and the influence they had and the wealth they had, instead of channeling it back into themselves, if they channeled it wholeheartedly in the service of others, it would have been one, it would have been much more satisfying for them, and two, they wouldn't be in the crap they're in. I mean, so one analogy I love to use here is former President Jimmy Carter. Goes down in history as maybe not one of the best presidents we've ever had, but probably one of the, hands down, the greatest humanitarians of our century. And he, like many former politicians or celebrities, he could have made a lot of money off his name and his wealth, capitalized on that. But what did he do instead? He led a life of service to others in everything he did. And he was very congruent. He got in his reps of service. And so how is the world remembering Jimmy Carter? Do you want to be remembered as the richest man that made the most of his name? Or do you want to be remembered as the person that people couldn't wait to see walk around that corner because he knew he was going to be there to serve you and be remembered for that? So being of service is the greatest reward we can. So if a few people can walk away even from this podcast with, hey, here's a new idea that can apply to my life today to make a great, healthier, stronger relationship with at least one person, that's the cascading effect. That is a great day.
Listeners also need to know that at the time we're recording this, which is the last day of September of 2024, former President Jimmy Carter is still alive, unbelievably, which shows that peanuts actually are good for you. I just want to make that clear.
And service. I'm telling you, it's easy. When you look at think about this, when you look at the healthiest people on the planet, it's what we consume is what makes us healthy or unhealthy. Sure. And when you consume nothing but good, healthy vibes towards others, and you don't live in you can see it in people's faces, the stress, the anxiety, when you don't ingest toxins, both physically as well as emotionally, you live longer. So I'll give you my other philosophy of life here. I have many. My wife calls me, a fortune cookie. I have a magic number.
Yes.
My magic number is 2068.
Okay.
Because that's the year.
That's how you're going to be 100 years old, I guess, at that point.
Yes.
Okay.
I am not satisfying for anything but sprinting across 2068. Because in our minds, if we know that insight isn't till then, when we start failing physically, emotionally, and physically, say, no, this isn't today. No, I got to push harder because it's not 2068 yet. And so in 2068, I'm going to go back to drinking and partying.
Well, hopefully we'll all be able to rejoice and celebrate together at that point.
Yes.
And by then,
Got to have a finish line you're shooting for.
That'll be like the 7,000th episode of Thrive Loud, I guess, at that point.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine? It'd be awesome.
Well, let me tell you, at 1,040, I don't know what we're at. I don't know how it continues to go. I love doing this. Let's do the plug section first. Share with everybody where they can find you, websites, URLs, social handles. We're going to put all the show links on this, but anything that's updated or things that we should know about. Again, the book is coming out. Look at this. How did I miss 4 books? I'm literally looking at his website that have all 4 books on there. You can see it in there. That's where you can get the books. But give everybody the URLs and all that so we can share it on the notes as well.
Yeah, easiest thing in the world is just go to my website. It's robindreeke.com, ROBINDREEKE.com. On there, yes, you can get all my books on there. They're also on Amazon. I'm on Instagram at rdreeke. I'm on Facebook at rdreeke. I'm on Twitter at rdreeke. But my website's got everything on, including I got a behavior corner on there. I am very, you're talking about service. I have taken every single human behavior thought and idea I've had, and I got my YouTube channel, and I got a behavior corner on there, and I got a lot of videos of all my thoughts on all my behavior stuff I'm training. Also, if you are into true crime at all, I'm on a weekly true crime podcast, and every episode I've been on is on there too. So if you're a true crime junkie, you can see me using my behavioral assessments on those shows too. So that's one site for everything. Really, everything's there.
Everyone also needs to know, I'm looking right now also at the episode when he was on back in the day, and Robin doesn't age either. So he obviously, this is what he's going to look like in 2068. So
2068.
I don't even need any new podcast artwork or anything like that. We're just going to keep.
I'm so sorry I'm being a bad guest. I'm interrupting you, but Lou, also, if you go to my website, part of my behavior corner is my podcast,
yes,
Forged by Trust, where Lou is on talking about Speakeasy. So make sure you tune into my interview of Lou on there, because it was a great one.
Yeah, listener, you must listen to that. And I do not believe I discuss fitted sheets in that one. So that's the only disappointment of this. But
might have.
It's very possible. Okay. I want to do this the Speakeasy pub crawl here, where we get to stroll down Fun Street and stop at all the fun places that connect the most with you, Robin, because we didn't get a chance to do this way back in the day. So this will be a little different from the last time we spoke. Because I may have talked about the movie with you, but we're going to bring it up to speed, a little more current. Are you okay with that? You're ready to roll?
Yeah,
of course.
give it a shot. I love freelance.
Okay. First of all, is there I know you mentioned different podcasts that you're true crime podcasts, but is there a streaming show or program that is like your little binge watch or your guilty pleasure, or one of those things that you love to tap in and watch?
Yeah, I got a few. If it's a reality show, probably my number one thing in the world I watch and I binge when it's on is Alone. I love Alone. It's on History. It is 10 people going out in the middle of nowhere, and last one standing wins. It is true. I love survival stuff. I read a lot of history, and I love historical history and biographies. Right now, I'm reading Sir Francis Drake. I just love that kind of survival stuff and adventure and exploration. So that's probably my number one.
Anyone surprised Marine Corps officer is giving you an answer?
It's a life arc, or that life arc.
All right. Here we go. This is going to be the rapid fire, whatever comes to your mind first thing as we stop on all these fun things. That's up to you. Here we go. Okay. Of late, like currently, is there a song that you're listening to or one that pumps you up, a certain jam?
Probably Thunder.
Thunder by who? Who performs that? Thunder.
Oh, AC/DC.
Oh, that Thunder. Wow. Oh, very nice.
I'm an old school guy.
Favorite food that is not a dessert?
Pizza.
Favorite dessert?
I'd say a good crumb cake.
I like
no, cannoli. What am I thinking? Cannoli. I'm a New Yorker. You kidding me?
An activity you wish you did more of?
I do everything I want. Probably even more backpacking. I'm a through hiker.
An activity you wish you did less of?
I sleep even. I if I could move 24/7, I'd move. So even sitting.
Fair enough. Sitting is the new smoking, they say, right?
Yeah.
A new activity, one that you, Robin, have recently tried that you like so much, you want to tell all the viewers and listeners to try. I'd
probably stick with the backpacking. I did that for the first time a couple years ago with one of my Naval Academy classmates, and we're out for sometimes a week or two at a time, living on the Appalachian Trail. That's a push.
All right, if I could snap my fingers today and Robin could be anywhere in the world, where is he?
With my kids.
Nice. Now, it's been a few years now. How old are they now at the time we're recording this?
My son is a 25-year-old Marine Corps F-35 jet pilot, in the pipeline for that anyway. And my daughter is a nurse. She's 2 years old. So my son's 24 going on 25. My daughter's 25 going on 26, and she's a labor and delivery nurse.
Awesome. Service. Not surprising coming from the Dreeke household. Very, very cool.
It's where health lives.
There you go. Robin Dreeke, everybody must check it out when you get a chance. Again, it is Unbreakable Alliances. We'll put all the links in the show notes. It is always good to catch up with you, sir. This was too long, too far in between, and only good things for you and continued success on this and everything else you got going on, my friend. Great to have you.
Lou, I got my goosebumps. I got my thanks and gratitude. And for everyone listening, I got to get my plug in. Hey, make sure you give a good like, subscribe, and share all with your friends. Lou is a gem that does great things for others. He's a great service. And so make sure you do all the things he needs you to do in order to support him and all the great work he's doing.
We don't even need to run the outro anymore. We're just going to have, we're going to play that spot from now on. Robin.
It's full of gratitude.
And man, truly great to have you back on the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Lou.
To all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us. Until next time, keep moving onward and upward. Ran over that too quickly. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Check us out on the web at thriveloud.com and follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at Thrive Loud. And check us out on the Good Pods app at Thrive Loud, where you can follow, listen, and connect directly to Lou and all of the Thrive Loud episodes. Thanks for listening.